Hey out there, this is Buzz with the Survival Buzz. So this Oklahoma weather just can't make up its mind. It's been in triple digits for I don't know how long, scorching hot. Can't even go outside and do anything now the last few days. It's been in the 80s. So nice change, and we're supposed to get some rain here in a few days. So pleasant change for me. Today I wanted to talk about sovereignty and the sovereign citizen. Uh, it's just a day and age in which we live in now that the politicians, the big corporations, pretty much everybody's just pissing all over our rights and the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, everything at this point. They don't really care. They're just going to rewrite everything, right? Um, a day and age in which ex-presidents get search warrants on their house to be searched. That's where we're at in the world right now. I made a video quite some time ago. It's not long after I started this channel. And I was talking about standing up for your rights, and it's not time to be gray man, basically. It's not time for gray man. It's time to stand up, tell everybody how you feel, and help others along the way and show them the way as well. Well, man, how far we have come in a matter of months. That wasn't too long ago I made that, to where it pretty much is time for gray man now. Because there's no in between anymore. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat or somewhere in the middle, or you're like me, you just have no faith in it whatsoever, although I lean more of a conservative nature with my values and beliefs. But it doesn't matter. You have to choose a side, and if you don't, somebody will choose it for you. That's the world we live in now. And the reason I bring all this up, the sovereign citizen and stuff, is because I had a couple come in today, and this lady has been in before. Yeah, as you may know, I do armed security. I work in a high-rise building where we run people through metal detectors, and basically screen them before they come in the building for weapons and such. There's no weapons allowed in the building. Even a tiny pocket knife isn't allowed. But I had this lady come in before, and she came back today with her husband, and they called ahead of time. They let the building know, wherever they were headed in the building, that they were coming. They were sovereign citizens, and that they did not want to comply with going through a metal detector and unreasonable search and seizure, basically violating their Fourth Amendment rights. So as always, my work pawns all this on me. Instead of dealing with these people themselves, they wait for them to come to me and approach me with it. And of course, the lady has a bunch of information printed down that she gives me and explains her sovereignty and how she's basically above what everybody else is supposed to do as far as being checked for weapons, because she doesn't want her Fourth Amendment rights violated. And I get that. Let me say that I am all for rights. I am all for people standing up. That's what made this country great. But we are in a time and age right now where you're going to have to start staying a little bit more low-key. And the reason I say that is because, so this sovereign citizen couple came in. They expressed, their rights and how they weren't going to be violated. They weren't going to go through the metal detector. They weren't going to be screened. And then at that point, started calling people, talking to the director. I guess, the building I work in, there's some undercover sheriffs or retired sheriffs and stuff. And they called and basically explained, don't allow them in without going through the checkpoint, going through the metal detector. All right, so I explained my point to the people. I explained my position and what they had to do if they wanted to come into the building. I kept just pretty much not taking no for an answer. And they eventually just complied, which I was floored. And that's, if you're going to stand up for rights to the degree of that, you should know your rights better, and you should stick behind your guns if that's what you're passionate about. But they complied. Eventually they went through the metal detector, and all come to find out because they were going into the building that I work to argue about not paying taxes because they're sovereign citizens, and not doing a lot of things because they're sovereign citizens, and that things don't comply to them, and then they just keep backtracking on constitutional rights and things. And so I got kind of curious while they were in the building, and started Googling things and reading some law and different things. And, you know, as far as the metal detector goes, a case like that did get brought to the Supreme Court at one time. And the Supreme Court basically ruled that it was not against your constitutional rights for you to be screened through a metal detector. It's basically called an administrative search. You're basically just searching on the surface for weapons. You're not violating anybody's rights. At least that's how the Supreme Court saw it. And like I said, let me reiterate, I'm all for expressing your rights and standing up for those and other people's rights. But we have reached a time when that is not a good idea anymore. And I say that because afterwards, after these people had left, they caused quite an uproar. They upset quite a few people. And I get it, they're trying to prove a point, they're trying to stand up, and I applaud that. But after they left, the sheriff came down and basically told me, in a nutshell, that, you know, they had their information, they had the little notes and print offs and things they were giving us and other people about their rights and how they weren't going to do this or that. And the sheriff basically said that they gather all that information from people, he called them sovereign citizen extremists. And that basically, at some point after Timothy McVeigh, which I had no idea, but apparently he was a sovereign citizen extremist, ever since then, they have given over this type of information to the FBI. So everything that this lady and this man came in and did, all the little information they give out about their rights and their names and all this different stuff, all of that is getting turned into the FBI, and they are on a list as sovereign citizen extremists. Right. So that is the country that we live in now. And I'm not saying there won't be a time to stand. There definitely will be a time to stand, and you will know when that time is. There will be no doubt in your mind. But yeah, I guess now is time to play a little bit of gray man. Don't put all your cards on the table. Don't go swinging your rights around like you know everything, especially if you don't. Like, this couple had no idea about the Supreme Court ruling, obviously, or they would have been arguing with me about a metal detector. They were very sloppy about it. And I applaud people that try this, but you really got to know what you're talking about. I've seen some videos with people, and they will sit there and bring up every Supreme Court ruling and every right they have to the T out of the book, and they've obviously spent days and countless days upon years probably studying this stuff to know what they're talking about. So if that's some avenue you want to go down, you want to put yourself out there, at least know what you're talking about. But on a side note, you're going to be on a list if you aren't already. I mean, we probably all are to some degree, but I just wanted to put that little bit of info out there because up till now I had no idea. But yeah, apparently sovereign citizen extremists exist, and if you want to defend your rights, you're going to be on a list somewhere, and they're going to come to your door. He even told me that the FBI actually follows up on these cases to make sure all these people are on the up and up. So might look out for that. You might not go screaming about your rights too much anymore nowadays because nobody cares. As always, like this video and subscribe if you like what you hear, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Later.